Hello there. Well, I do not know how to open this, but I am Manas Vyas. Hopefully, you people know me as the person who wrote, Chronicles of Owen Ireson or Sage Zara. Hopefully, we can all have our um, dreams and stuff. I'm also studying for NEET, which is the National Eligibility Come Entrance Test. Basically, I'm preparing for med school. And the need for this video journal um, is basically accountability, because I've wanted to do a lot of things for 2024. None of those things were done for 2024, and now um, it's like 11:30. I don't think you can see this. Yeah, 11:30 and 26th of December, which is the day after Christmas. So happy holidays, people. I have a test tomorrow, um, which is the practice test for NEET, which is like 240 marks, 60 questions, so 4 marks each question. 240. Yeah, 240. And an hour to do do the test, and after said test we have classes. So 4 hours. So it's a tough night. It's going to be a tough night because I have not done a bit of preparation. Instead of preparing for the exam, I'm here making a video journal. Hi. Uh, I'm going to upload this on YouTube without any tags or title or thumbnail. So if you found this, it's pure luck. It's coincidence or the will of an almighty algorithm. Algorithm. Hmm. I have, in case you do not know, I have no idea what to speak on this, how to communicate this. And I also do not have an idea about lighting. I should have. Uh, this should do. This should do. I have no idea. Hello. Hello. Uh, I was reading thermodynamics, which is a really interesting thing. Like just the idea of how temperature is evolved from mass, from matter, and the rules that it follows. I really hope I'm audible because I did not want to be loud. This is really late at night, and I really do not want to be loud. No, I have family, and they're going to kick me out if I'm loud. Yes, thermodynamics. The zeroth law of thermodynamics, which was usually like thermal equilibrium. If this is, let's say, some temperature, this is some temperature, and this is some temperature, and we put um, a pipe through it. We connect it somehow. Imagine this is a pipe. We connect. We connect these somehow, like these. We connect this somehow, and no um, there is not a temperature change between these two. So no quote unquote heat flows from this to this, nor this to this. So they are at a thermal equilibrium. And now I take something else like this mouse here and do the same thing. That is, put a pipe and connect these two, and again no amount of heat flows from this to this, uh, which means they are at a thermal equilibrium. So if we put a pipe between this, which is the first thing that we took, and this, which is the third thing that we took, let's name them A and let's name them C. While we're at it, this is B. So if A and B are are at thermal equilibrium, and B and C are at thermal equilibrium, then A and C, which means these two, if we connect them by a pipe and we measure the change in temperature and it does not changes, it means they too are at thermal equilibrium. I think this is like an extension of Euclid's postulate, one of the postulates of Euclid, was that if A equals to B and B equals to C, then that implies that A should be equals to C. He did that, I'm pretty sure, by adding the two equations, which is A plus B equals B plus C. And now B and B can be cut out, so A equals C. Pretty interesting stuff. Second, the first law. I have a paper here. I actually have notes. I can use those. Never mind. Yeah, so the first law of thermodynamics, which is the law of conservation of energy. It's a pretty interesting law, which it basically means that change in temperature is equals to heat plus work done. Change of temperature, yeah, and yeah. It also means that internal energy is conserved. Change in internal energy, my bad. U stands for internal energy. And if you look at this very carefully, I'm sure I can somehow. I'm gonna have to like mirror this because, yeah, not the smartest idea. So, for an isolated system, Q, which is heat, change in heat, and W, which is work done, remain the same. They remain zero, which means change in internal energy is zero, which means energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Internal energy is conserved. It can only be transformed from one medium to another. Yeah, so thermodynamics is pretty rad. I actually have a test on equilibrium. I've not studied any equilibrium. Where am I going with my life? Bye. So, I actually write as a hobby. Pretty audacious for someone who has not written in like, what? Fuck. Oh boy, when was the last time I wrote? Like not handwritten, not notes or not study, actually like fiction, short stories, prose. Oh boy. A long time ago, let's not dwell on small details. I am currently working on first dinner, 13th dinner, sages which is 13th Dinner is the first book in the series, which is the Chronicles of Owen Harrison, or simply the Chronicles. It revolves around Iris Stone, which is who is a pretty like well-known detective and a British noble, and he goes around and does shit, a lot of shit, and I suck at synopsises. Okay, just go and read the stuff. And actually, there's like this mystique around who's this urban person, because the book is called the Chronicles of Irvin Harrison, and we don't have any clue as to who Irvin Harrison is. And then the second book, I do not have a name for that, would revolve around Elvis Presley. Yes, Elvis Presley, as I live and breathe. He's talk. He stole rock and roll and gave us rockabilly cheese. I'm just going to be here quoting ELP lyrics at this point in time. Anyways, the point is that why do I look so dead? I should really get some coffee. Yes, that ought to help me. Do I mock chat? Do I mock? Yes. Um, yes. So it revolves around Elvis Presley, which is like a lot of spoilers as to say what he does, but basically he's in America, which is the lightest term to put this is that it's a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship around a cultish figure. Let's just leave it at that. Ooh, I like this. I am pretty fond of this. I'm just setting the white balance as to if I'm seen, because this tablet does not have the best of. Actually, my phone could take better video. It's around the same. It's around the same. It it's around the same actually. Now that I look at it, I thought the tablet had an advantage. It clearly does not. It clearly does not. The difference just maybe because the tablet has a better display. Maybe that's why should I record this from two like perspectives and then we'll like patch in the videos together? I'm not going to do that. This is a shitpost journal with no effort in it. If I want to do, I was going to talk about this actually. Actually, I want to start a YouTube channel. Doing video essays because I really like writing essays about Indian shit, and I want to write like really lengthy essays, like 50-60 minute long videos, and then like edit it in a simplistic style because I cannot edit for shit, and upload that and like trying to garner an audience because I want some platform to launch this fucking novel. I also have like a book of poems. I'm going to read you one of those poems as a way to, you know, initiate you into this cult that we have, you have of your own will decided to join. I wish I could like put subliminal messages around the screen that would like add to the effect. Ooh, which one should I? I do not have the energy to do a proper recital to this, to this, to this. Hmm. I, hmm. The thing is, the poems that I find interesting are often like people are like, "What the fuck is this?" Of my own discography, discography. What would you call it? Like bibliography. Anyways, um, my own poems of my own poems, the poems that I like, people are like, "No, this is not your best work." So I do not have the best knack for picking out which one is, because um, what the poems that I like are the ones that are better from an expression point of view, that I really liked writing and that turned out to be like what I wanted to write, as opposed to poems that I just write because I like it occurred to me at the time. So there some poems do not have a lot of implicitness, so to speak. Um, I cannot for the life of me find the word for it. Uh, Shit. No, now that I look at it, every poem just looks really bad. Okay, 8 billion days, one rotation. The title of this poem is Time to Complain, which is the naming is a running joke, you can say, call it, or like a series, which is Time to Complain, Time to Blame, Time to um, there are a few, Time to Rain, um, Time to Spend, yeah, Time to Spend, Time to Blame, Time to Grieve, and that does it, doesn't it? Yeah, like an ongoing series that I'm going to add. Actually, I'm going to fuck that shit. I'm going to read to you Insomnia, which I wrote at 3 a.m. I have proof actually. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 p.m. Oh, I like edited like mistakes and stuff at 1 p.m. But I wrote it at 3. Interesting. The inability to put my thoughts to rest has led me to places I wouldn't run in with a gun. The inexplicable reasons I can't express best. But in this need for mind race, I can at least have some fun. Like I can float amidst clouds, vest my thoughts into reality, write my piece or scream it out loud, or inject it into the interweb of virality, stream my conscious or stream such conscience, or conscientiously disclaim my congruence, call my way to two triangles, both congruent. Irrelevant would be the revelation then. I'd be regular in my preparation then. Irregular. I'd be irregular in my preparation then. Comforted in yours and your convocations when. Contorted your views and your confirmations when. Rapping at which doors, which raven, heaven bound messenger, or what tragic son, prodigal in the prolapse of whose haven, who is laughing at whose expense, who's the happy one? interjected by intermissions? Am I influenced by superstitions? Am I? And so I invent new ways to escape. So I invest new ways to fake. Addictions to affluent affections, an aficionado to all adversities, nonplussed in private projections. Plus, I don't even have adversaries. I have myself. I have myself though. A messiah of all miserables, or a mark for my help. No, a martyr to all unfixables. Dreamless sleeps, dreamless sleeps deem me a demon. Induced, induces in me some pride. Wherever, wherever I sense any reason, you can bet on where the insomnia lies. So that is um, because for the like past couple of days I cannot for the life of me sleep at time, and I curse myself every morning for not sleeping earlier. I can't help it. It's an addiction. Addiction to affluent affections. I'm going to read you another one. I do not like that. Mm. I really like this one. Grieve the tragedy. It's named aptly. What if the moon vanished? What if God snatched the snatching? What the fuck am I? What if God snatched the pearly thing? The gold tinted and silver varnished took it and hurled it into a swirly fling. Who would the poets revere? Who would the lovers swear by? Who would the occultist fear? Who would clutch me by. Okay, so I rhymed mere swear by with mere lie. Who would clutch me by existing merely? The the poets have it sorted. They'd grieve the tragedy and revel in it. They'd twist the tragedy, contort it. They'd make home in agony and settle in it. The lovers have each other and or each other's love letters, not lover letters. The lovers have each other's or each other's love letters that find they, they'd be fine without the world even. They'd find each other in the words even. The occultists would move on too. That mark, they'd mark. I do not write poems. I write uh, tongue twisters. They'd mark Mars with malice, and they'd corner Venus and put their moves on her too. I do not know where that rhyme was in that stanza. But how would I recover this celestial heist? How would I make two in darkness? How would I survive markless, crushed under tyranny of celestial mites? How would the night how would the night sky console me? How would quiet not sting? How would the nightly absence conform me? Or would I miss the pearly thing? I wrote this while staring at the moon. I have a problem. Uh, I did not write a lot in like the. Okay. This one's named glass trinkets. Guess why? Glass trinkets come in large and small sizes, any and all sizes. Glass trinkets shine brightly at night, the true beacon of light. Glass trinkets glimmer in different hues, reds and greens and blues. Glass trinkets are adorned and admired. Their talkers seldom seem tired. Glass trinkets, you want them till you have them, then you beat them and stab them. Glass trinkets that resist every impulse around them to trust them up and round them. Glass, glass trinkets aren't often made by one, but are often put to the blade by one. Glass trinkets fall sometimes on their own, no matter on their own fault, no matter the safekeeping or vault. Glass trinkets leave shards that sting and bruises that ring. Glass trinkets, I wish I never bought them, never stooped down and sought them. Glass trinkets are now all gone in a way, and since then I haven't had a peaceful day. Okay, a lot of abstract shit that I'm not trying to say out loud. Most of my poems are better read. Uh, I really like this one. This one is, it's a long one, and this one is titled Unsaid. I want to spend hours talking, and hours more reminiscing, and hours still imagining about us, about this faint pictures, about this faint picture I know of us. And though what little I know of trust, I see this only trust that you deserve every second of it, every twitch that my heart takes, and every memory that my mind makes. Every secret, every secret it spells to regret, and I'd rather forget myself than you. And I catch myself clicking more pictures of mundane leaves and posts of scriptures that I want to share through me to you. It is simply not that you see a cat. It's more that you see a cat as I see a cat. And how I think of that one clip and how I remember those past trips. I don't care if you were not a part of that group or you did not share the same major. You listen to it and admire it like I admire you. And I steal words, greats, and I steal words of greats and lessers to better draft a letter more to your taste, and that may burn with the same light as you. I know a futile pursuit. I know the uncapturable and unimitable when I see one. And I have seen you, and I have choked on my own sins when guilt rushes, ravages myself, and I convince this but help. And I convince myself this is but help. This is the lowest of gestures possible. This is to be treated human. But if only I could convince myself, if only I could sway my heart like you do. If I did, I probably would not spend nights dreaming and writing in any way to invent a replacement for the reactions you invoke as trivially as if you were born with it. And I cannot. I love you like I love the moon. In that I constantly think about you and you steal my breath when we exchange cases. But in the same line, I bask in your light. But in the same line, I bask in your light and I long for your sight and your semblance of the cool and of the sun. And I simply think so that I may understand that though I want you, nay, I need you, I can't be us. It's not even the distance that separates us, but that our relation will always be that of the admirer and the admired. For I hear of tragedies and I can't contemplate living. If I became Dorian and you Sybil, so let me stand behind the red ribbons and let you shine under the lights. Let me watch you rise with a tugging tread and let you be clear of any of my tragedy. Let you be better than me. Let you be better than be us. Even with my will made, I want to spend hours talking, hours more, reminiscing, and hours still imagining about us. Fun times. Uh, I'm sure that there are fun poems of mine. Right? Right? Okay. I often daydream about if we'd met before, hopped up on coffee, eyes puffed up at a bookstore. Maybe we'd bump hands reaching for Oscar Wilde and dazzled at say fires fire seeks a born child. Maybe you'll comprehend me, maybe even apprehend me, or just laugh as you ask for my name. Or maybe I'll turn red, maybe I'll bash my head, and maybe then ask the same. Maybe we chat and walk back to the door as the clerk ask ask the clerk. Oh, good God. Ask the clerk for a copy of Dorian Gray. He'd shrug and say, "There's no more." I'd reach in my pocket and pitch in half. He'd smile and do the same, preoccupied with maybe we, maybe we'll even forget paying the staff and strike a deal. Oh, a bait and a hook. We'll read one chapter and then return the book. We'll exchange socials and or just know each other by scent and meet almost ritualistically to discuss Oscar and the book we'd lent. Maybe the book will be over too. Too soon for both of us to be. We'd start making reasons and paying any excuse to meet. I'd come in, since this is fiction, holding a revelation or prediction. I'd say I bought the George Martin sequel, and I was wondering if you could pay some equal. And we'll hold hands or lie in each other's laps, sip coffee at each other's table, or muss each other's hair in a nap. To that end, to that dream, it seems, my seams seem the biggest or the strongest they can be, where we love each other and all the world can see. This is an untitled poem, which I'd rather not title. Ah, good God. This one is the most nonsensical piece of shit I've read in a long while. I've written in a long while. I wrote it in July. Scents of freshly peeled books cling to my finger, aromas of long Colton coffee advance but linger. I look at the dead flowers, recounting my own days to go, putting bricks on my grave. I have not many days to go. As I stare languidly at the placid thing, I can hear the steps of Hades ring. Perhaps I'll too be tortured like Icarus sans the wings. I've dreamt too in uninterrupted hazes and of non-existing places and of uninterested faces. It all comes back in the end. It all seems bad in the end. I've seen my death 1,000 times, sculpted it as one foot stone, and sought vengeance. I have too, and in the pursuit lost every suitor who'd moan, any suitable suit-wearing strange nephew who'd lower me to my grave or watch me as he says, "Bless you." Maybe the stone deities at my shelf will lower me to my grave. I've asked them many times, and as of late their gazes and pity their graces betray, or maybe they'll leave me to crows. I have made my peace with both possibilities and have cried over incredible inevitabilities, death and taxes, and let's assume I launder. I live in a strange world. I see corpses walking, rotting carcasses, flies swarming around them, their own flesh falling, eyes infested with maggots and worms and vermins, and they console themselves, they tell themselves that as they tell other corpses that they smell fine and that they look fine and that their Tesla's new upgrade is impressive and that their Titan's skin, their pale hide, it's almost rage. It's all the rage amongst the living. And I wish to bury them. I wish to exact their deaths. Bring them justice if vengeance I can't afford. Investigate their murders and uncover their murderers. Then I find who killed them. Then God tells me who killed them. Even him, as appalled as I was, some were killed by parents, some other were loved by their lovers, some by their kids, wide-eyed, smiling, jovial faces, strangled and killed in coldness. And as I dig through the supposed list of these murdered souls, I uncover not just parricides or infanticides, but killing of selves too. But what fool would drive a knife through his own heart, I ask, choking on blood. Yeah. This one's a short one. Gentle tremors in my head. Gentle tremors in my chest still beat, and I still hum to them. They still stir, even though you muffle them, try every bit as much to stop them, and still that fool of a thing beats. To the beat of to be or not to be, scared and careful, but resilient and determined. The end. Oh, okay. And now we come back to Time to Complain. It's all a circle. 8 billion days, one rotation, 8 billion lives, 16 billion eyes. Scanning the earth, distilling, discarding, and dismissing views, painting new pictures in perfect hues, perfect or perfectly different still. 8 billion lives and a few hundred wills, a few hundred men with whips to crack, chips to register, and bugs to track each life that is, was, or will be, and to decide among the fewness what Earth's will be. What would become of this billion? What would become of this billion boarding aboard? A few can quench the thirst of many. What indeed would quench the greed of one? And what indeed would burn to cover the sun? I simply and resignedly mutter, none. 8 billion lives all end today, all mischiefs and good deeds and laws and rules obeyed, all come tumbling down with the heads that were crowned, and lay waste to the that lay waste to the planet of this planet of ours, lay waste and flew to Mars and left us behind, us and their sons. And hateful still, we buried those ones. We saw that they were not they were treated. We saw that they were treated as humans. For once we were not. We know how it burns. I hmm. I had a really good one. Good God. That is like the problem. Yes, I found it. Sometimes I find myself in this cycle, kicking my feet, yelling for help, the same recycled junk that I catch myself with. I doubt if I'll ever breathe. I'll just lay down and asphyxiate, get down on my knees, plead for sins on which I won't elaborate. Maybe all these calls and yells and all these cities and bells, terrible for their ring to tell. How do I know I'm not trapped in hell? How do I know this isn't purgatory? It's repetitive, irrelevant, bleached out stories. It's all the same. The embers and their flames, the blue tint over basalt pillars, jam packed and with jokers and killers or billionaires bailed out their villas, sold every sin they stoned their walls with, every secret, every seashell they line their calls with. All that remains in that hell is meaningless labor, irredeemable joy of uncertain flavors, all in service of faceless entities, doling success for less than savory favors. To that end, I think of when my head is down on my phone. To that end, I dread of when naught is left to atone. When all my tongue finds is this unyielding chase, this blindness in static minds, all deprived of grace. Sponsored by Mark Zuckerberg. I also cannot find that. Hmm. Oh, I really like this one. I fell my stand, blown by a gust of, uh, blown by a breath of gust, crashed on land before I bit the dust. I spent there a while, all flesh and blood and pus. Placid gazes turned hostile. They talked and dined and dug. Some of those night-winged, pearly-eyed creatures landed on my head. I appeared and spoke, broken and sight-entered. To them of my woes, of my worries, of my foes, I begged and pleaded of these crows. I asked them not for life, not to be saved of this flight. I asked them but one thing. I asked them to spare my sight. My limbs are mighty swell, I've been tall and have it well, and take those take those legs to dine and spare me my eyes. We do have little taste for sour meat, as is one in legs and arms finds, as one in legs and arms find. But softer flesh is often juicy and sweet, so we must tear and eat your eyes. But does not end before your greed does. Take pity, take fret, or heed trust. Take and feast each part of me before it dies. Just spare me my eyes. We will fall in one, you rest assured. We'll tear you and not your grasp, with not your gasps or sighs. We do hear you, but we must eat your eyes. Leave me empty, leave me empty, carcassed in a thing of bone. I may look lonely, but I have friends and ties. They'll clover me and mark me of stone, so for their sake, spare me my eyes. What use does your friend have flesh of man and kin. They'll bury you and leave you then, all waving pity and goodbyes. It'll all go to waste, so we must eat your eyes. What use do I serve? Do you hear my voice rise? I wish just to see my own hers. For that sake, please spare me my eyes. Humans are queer things, two-feeted, tall but unwinged. What good was sight of food provide? Just lay still, we'll eat your eyes. I must admit omission. You must forgive me. You must forgive my lies. I have a lover. I love her. To see her, you must spare me my eyes. Ha! Is that for what you need your eyes? The basis of senses? We snicker, but we apologize. We can't but spare you your eyes. Why? But I beg you. I need to see her for the last time. Last time we fought, I felt her tears. Her face was all a mess and red. And now all's amiss, I'm dead. So as reproaches of the life, I ask you to but spare me my eyes. Do you hear yourself human? Or are you yet dumb? If your love bears some trueness or some unsuperficial touch, you'd have no need of sight to sense her coming. I really do not know if this is like poetry big, but I do not know if this makes for a compelling video. It's just me looking down. I'm going to position it here. Do you hear yourself human, or are you yet dumb? If your love bears some trueness, some unsuperficial touch, you'd have no need of sight to sense her coming. Your vision does but debase your love. We'll restore it when we eat your eyes. And so they did. All playful and dancing and gay. I just held still in pain. I'd lost all words to say. And under those trees, I don't know how many days have passed. All I know is that all I know is not know at last. All I know is my knowledge is that of my past. Either she came to bear me flowers and I couldn't have seen her, or she didn't and she cares not. In either way, I wouldn't blame her, for I think the heart, went with the flesh that beat it. I have lost the very tether where flesh and soul meted. And so my soul is out there with her as she burns my letters or grieves my name. My flesh is somewhere baser, rotting and putrid and lame. If I were to put this to a title, all I'd write is shame. All I'd write is shame. This was meant to be a talk, and all I did was read poems. By the way, the idea is to reach the 1 hour mark, to like unload my mind, to like, because I cannot for the life of me focus on one thing. So, being filmed, being made to say things, to entertain a camera is one of the best ways to concentrate, to like, even to a point, meditate, to dwell on my own thoughts. I I always like come back to this story, and it is one of the most interesting stories to me. But I'm going to tell you the tale of Lord Byron. Lord Byron was a was an English lord, one of the most influential of romantics. He loved for the sake of loving. He loved nature. He loved um, all things. I'm going to read you one of his poems, but wait a second. Good God. She Walks in Beauty, the name of the poem. I'm going to read you the first stanza and then we'll continue with the story. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, And all that's best of dark and bright meet her aspect of and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies, one shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lighten o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. I really fucked the rhyme here. And on the cheek and o'er the brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, that's the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. So he wrote wonderful, fucking beautiful, downright criminal poems about nature and mountains and starry skies and blue skies and green skies and red skies and every sort of sky. He was one of those romantics that people really hate, like those cherry fucking choppy types. And he wore that badge until he grew disillusioned with the whole notion of romanticism. He did not want to love for the sake of loving. He wanted to do something to have an impact on the world. He was like, oh, I'm a noble lord, I'm going to go to war. And just a few countries over in Greece, there was being a war for independence. Greece was fighting the Ottoman Empire for an independent state. It wanted to be separate. It it's like a the whole struggle was part of a giant Balkan like rising conflict. Like the Balkan people really wanted that fucking recognition. And so Lord Byron assembled a lot of men and wanted to go to war. But wait a second, I need to check this. It was either typhoid or some of those fevers Lord Byron died of. Malaria. It was malaria. He got malaria, and basically, like at that time, like the standard procedure, because people were still at the humoral theory, humor theory, whatever. That um, the the humor theory is basically the body is filled with a lot of fluids, different types of fluids. There's blood, there's pus, there's urine, there's water, and these fluids, when they're out of whack, when they're out of balance, the human body starts to act out, starts to become diseased, in a sense, and um, um, the common cure for many diseases, the people of science, not quite science, good God, people of medicine recommended was bloodletting, which is basically like putting like leeches on your skin so that it would soak up the blood, so that you would be bloodless. It would lessen your blood, and maybe balance out the fucking out of whack shit. It was also like, if I remember correctly, like the son of Nicholas, Tsar Nicholas, the Tsar of Russia, right before the Russian rebellion, the Russian Revolution, the October Revolution. Yes, it was Nicholas. I hope so. It was Nicholas II, and his son was actually like plagued with fuck some disease. It was either sickle cell anemia or some of those, like something related to blood, and they were um, like bleeding him every day. And Rasputin came and like took him off the no, they were feeding him mercury. They were feeding him mercury. Yes, I remember. They were feeding him mercury, and that's why he was like really fucking weirded out. He was really diseased, and Rasputin came and took him off the meds, and he got better. And then the Tsar and the Tsarina, I hope it's Tsarina or not. Is it Tsarina? Tsar and his wife started praising him because, like, yeah, this guy got my son well, which the royal mediciners could not do. So he must be a mystic. Anyways, coming back to Lord Byron, Lord Byron was a celebrity. He was a very famous poet in a time where being a poet was similar to being a pop star. So everybody knew this guy. He was a celebrity, and no one wanted to sacrifice him. No one wanted him to die. So they put a bunch of fleeces on him so that he would recover quickly. He bled to death. He died because people wanted him to live too much. He was too famous to live. Too famous to die, and he died of it, being too famous. Ironic in two ways because blood is also ironic. Good God, I'm like really running out of things. Let's call it a day today. I don't think this will be a regular occurrence, but I think I will be back in a few days. Hopefully. Hopefully. When the IATS results come, I will be back, brothers.